Right now, as you are listening to this, a low-pressure system is barreling through Atlantic Canada, and Environment Canada has just blanketed nearly the entire province of Nova Scotia in weather warnings. We are talking 15 to 20 centimeters of snow in warning zones, 10 to 15 centimeters everywhere else, freezing drizzle advisories across Newfoundland, and a Wednesday that could genuinely shut parts of this region down. I am going to give you every single number, every single warning, and every single timeline you need to get through this system safely. So stay with me, because the numbers are changing fast, and your area might be next. As of early Wednesday morning, Halifax is sitting at -4 degrees Celsius under heavy overcast skies. The snow has not started falling yet, but according to Environment Canada, it is minutes away. And when it arrives, it is not stopping anytime soon. Halifax's official forecast for today calls for a high of 0 degrees with periods of heavy snow through the day, then continuing snow tonight as temperatures drop back to -4. That is a full day of accumulation with no break. Now, if you are in Moncton, New Brunswick, you are waking up to the coldest reading in the region this morning, -8 degrees Celsius under partly cloudy skies. Moncton's Wednesday forecast is calling for -5 with periods of snow, and then more snow overnight at -6. You are on the edge of this system, but you are not out of it. Over in St. John's, Newfoundland, conditions are different, but no less dangerous. It is currently around -1 with drizzle that is expected to change over to flurries or freezing drizzle by this evening. St. John's will reach a high of +2 today, making it the mildest spot in the Atlantic region. But mild does not mean safe when freezing drizzle is in the forecast, and I will explain exactly why in a moment. Now here is the engine behind all of this. A low-pressure system is tracking south of Nova Scotia right now, pulling massive amounts of moisture northward off the Atlantic, and that moisture is converting into heavy, sustained snowfall as it collides with the colder air sitting over the Maritimes. This system is not a quick mover. It is going to sit and deliver snow across Nova Scotia for the better part of 24 hours, and that is what makes this event dangerous. Let me walk you through exactly how this unfolds, hour by hour, because timing is everything with this storm. Snow is beginning over western Nova Scotia this morning. By midday, it pushes across the central part of the province. By this evening, it reaches Cape Breton. So no matter where you are in Nova Scotia, this system is coming for your area at some point on Wednesday. The only question is when. Now here are the numbers that matter most. Environment Canada has placed 8 counties under a yellow snowfall warning with 15 to 20 centimeters of accumulation, expected through Thursday morning. Those 8 counties are Antigonish, Guysborough, Halifax east of Porters Lake, Halifax Metro, and Halifax County West, Lunenburg, Pictou, Queens, and Shelburne. If you are in any of those 8 counties, you need to hear this clearly. Environment Canada is explicitly warning of significant impacts to rush hour traffic, dangerous driving conditions on roads and walkways, and the possibility of local utility outages, power outages, in the middle of February. That is not a warning you ignore, and it does not stop there. On top of those 8 warning counties, special weather statements are in effect for nearly every other county in Nova Scotia, covering 10 to 15 centimeters. Those special statements include Annapolis, Colchester, Digby, Hants, Inverness south of Mabu, Kings, Richmond, Sydney Metro, and Yarmouth. And when you add the warning areas and the special statement areas together, virtually the entire province of Nova Scotia is under some form of Environment Canada alert right now. That almost never happens for a single system. And Environment Canada has specifically noted that these totals could shift if the storm's track changes even slightly. So if you are on the edge of a warning zone, do not assume you are in the clear. The highest accumulations are expected along the Atlantic coastline and eastern mainland Nova Scotia, which is exactly why those areas earned the full snowfall warning designation. The South Shore counties of Lunenburg, Queens, and Shelburne are in the warning zone because the Atlantic coast is going to catch the heaviest moisture feed from this system. Now let me talk about New Brunswick, because even though Moncton and the southeast are on the fringe of this storm, you still need to pay attention to the numbers. Moncton's forecast today is -5 degrees with periods of snow, continuing overnight at -6. As of the most recent check, there are no active Environment Canada warnings or statements for the Moncton and southeast New Brunswick region. But here is what that means in practice. No warning does not mean no snow. It means the totals are expected to stay below warning thresholds. You are still going to see accumulation, roads are still going to become slippery, And if this system wobbles even slightly to the north, those numbers could climb. So if you are driving in southern New Brunswick today, exercise caution. Now, Newfoundland. This is where the story shifts from snow to something arguably more treacherous. 5 regions in central and northeastern Newfoundland are currently under a yellow freezing drizzle advisory, and this is the kind of hazard that injures people. Freezing drizzle creates a nearly invisible layer of ice on every surface it touches. Roads, sidewalks, parking lots, front steps, all of it becomes a skating rink with no warning. The 5 regions under this advisory are the Bay of Exploits, Bonavista North, Gander and Vicinity, Grand Falls Windsor, and Green Bay to White Bay. This advisory was issued at 11:44 p.m. Newfoundland time on Tuesday night, and it covers freezing drizzle mixed at times with light snow. Environment Canada has noted that this advisory may be expanded or extended to cover additional freezing drizzle through Wednesday and Wednesday night. So if you are in central or northeastern Newfoundland, conditions could actually get worse before they get better. St. John's itself is not under a formal warning right now, but the forecast does include a risk of freezing drizzle this evening on top of flurries through Thursday. So even in the capital, the roads could turn dangerous after dark tonight. Now let me take you through Thursday, because this is when the recovery begins for most of the region, but not all of it. For Nova Scotia, Thursday is when conditions start to improve. Environment Canada says snow will taper to flurries Wednesday night over most areas, but here is the critical detail. Snow will likely persist into Thursday over eastern Nova Scotia and Cape Breton. So if you are east of Halifax, do not assume Thursday morning is clear. You could still be dealing with active snowfall. Halifax on Thursday is forecast at -4 degrees and cloudy, clearing overnight to -8. That is a significant temperature drop after the storm passes, and that cold air is going to freeze everything that melted during the day, making Thursday night and Friday morning icy. Moncton on Thursday is calling for -4 degrees and cloudy, then clearing overnight to -10. Cold and dry, which is actually the best outcome after a snow event, but that -10 overnight means any moisture on the roads is turning to ice. Now here is where Newfoundland goes in a completely different direction from the Maritimes. St. John's on Thursday is forecast for +1 degree with snow, then transitioning to periods of rain overnight. Snow changing to rain, that is a messy, dangerous combination because it means you get accumulation first, then rain on top of snow, which creates flooding, slush, and refreeze potential heading into Friday. That is a completely different hazard set from what Nova Scotia and New Brunswick are dealing with, and it demands its own preparation. Friday, February the 13th. This is when the entire Atlantic region finally gets a genuine break. Halifax on Friday is forecast for -2 degrees and sunny, clear skies, cold air, and the first real recovery day after the storm. Moncton is also looking at -2 degrees and sunny on Friday, though there is a 60% chance of flurries Friday night, so not a complete all clear for southeast New Brunswick. St. John's on Friday calls for +2 degrees and cloudy, with cloudy conditions continuing overnight. Mild but overcast. Typical Newfoundland. Saturday, February the 14th, Valentine's Day. Halifax is forecast for -1 degree and sunny, which is about as good as it gets for mid-February in Nova Scotia. Moncton on Saturday calls for -3 degrees with a 60% chance of flurries, so the weekend is not entirely settled for New Brunswick. St. John's on Saturday is looking at +1 degree and cloudy with a 40% chance of flurries overnight. Manageable, but unsettled. Now I need to talk to you directly about what you should be doing right now, especially if you are anywhere in Nova Scotia. If you have the option to work from home today, take it. That is not being cautious. That is being smart. Environment Canada is explicitly warning about significant rush hour impacts, and when they use that language, they mean it. If you absolutely must drive today, slow down, increase your following distance, and make sure you have a winter emergency kit in your vehicle along with a fully charged cell phone. With utility outages possible in the warning areas, you need to have flashlights and batteries ready to go right now. Keep your devices charged while you still have power, and know exactly where your emergency supplies are. If you use a generator during a power outage, this is critical. Only run it outdoors. Never inside your home, never inside your garage, never in an enclosed space. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every single winter during storms exactly like this one. In Newfoundland, if you are in any of the 5 freezing drizzle advisory areas, be extremely careful on every surface you walk or drive on today. Black ice does not announce itself. You will not see it until you are already sliding. Please take a few minutes today to check on elderly neighbors and family members. Make sure they have what they need, make sure they are warm, and make sure they are not going to try to go out in these conditions alone. And when the snow stops and it is time to shovel, take it slow. Take breaks. Heavy snow shoveling puts enormous strain on the heart, and every year people suffer cardiac events while clearing snow because they push too hard, too fast. There is no driveway in the world worth that. Looking at the extended outlook beyond this system, Friday and Saturday look mostly clear for Nova Scotia, with temperatures between -2 and -1 in Halifax. Moncton stays cold through the weekend with that persistent 60% chance of flurries on both Friday night and Saturday, so southeastern New Brunswick is not fully out of the active weather pattern yet. St. John's remains comparatively mild at +1 to +2 degrees through the weekend, but mostly cloudy with a chance of flurries Saturday night. We are deep in the heart of February in Atlantic Canada, and active weather patterns are the norm right now. More systems will come. So here is your bottom line for today. Nova Scotia is the primary target. 15 to 20 centimeters in the 8 warning counties, 10 to 15 centimeters everywhere else, and Environment Canada alerts covering virtually the entire province from coast to coast. This is a serious province-wide snow event. Newfoundland, the freezing drizzle advisory continues for 5 regions in central and northeastern areas, and snow arrives in St. John's on Thursday, with a transition to rain, which brings its own set of hazards. New Brunswick, you are on the edge with periods of snow and no formal warnings, but that does not mean safe driving. This is a developing situation and conditions can shift. And continue to monitor all alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada for the latest updates. If this forecast helped you prepare, hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update when the next system develops. Stay safe out there. Atlantic Canada.